Welcome back, everyone. 7:26 right now. It is a big weekend, and it's full of events and festivities. So while we want everyone to have fun, of course, so many incidents this week have reinforced, really, the need for safety to also be top of mind. We are so happy to have Deputy Mayor of Community Safety Garien Gatewood back here with us today to talk more about what the city has planned to keep the peace. Good morning. Thanks for coming back on.
Good morning. Thanks again for having me.
We always appreciate you. Let's start here. Just like Memorial Day weekend is kind of the scene setter, if you will, for the summer, Labor Day weekend prepares us for the fall. I hear you have one more Take Back the Block event, and before we talk about that, I want you to tell me about it, but I also think a lot of people see and wonder, are they effective?
Yeah. So we have one more Take Back the Block event, like you mentioned. It'll be today on the 79th 100 block of South Maryland, but yeah, they are effective, and I'll tell you what we do. So we take a 4-block radius and do infrastructure repairs, cleaning. We actually work with the Chicago Police Department to determine which areas in the city have been suffering from the highest levels of violence. And then we go and flood that area with resources and then continuous follow-ups. For instance, some of the blocks we did last year, they've seen a 40% decrease in violence.
Wow.
So I would venture to say they've been effective. And it's another way to really have people understand everything that comes with the Johnson administration from every one of our city agencies, showing up on blocks, building those relationships. So again, people know directly who can I contact when I have this issue with my water, this issue with my garbage, this issue with my lights, you name it. We bring the entire administration out as another form of violence prevention by really bringing resources and community together.
Yeah, violence prevention goes in so many different directions, obviously. It's so multifaceted and nuanced. This morning, obviously, we had a 12-year-old and a 15-year-old that were shot overnight. Lots of other big events, too, that are coming up in the next few weeks. Bike the Drive is on Sunday this weekend. You also have the Jazz Fest, Taste of Chicago next weekend with Mexican Independence Day parade and festivities that are coming up as well. So I want to get to this. As much pushback as the city and state have given to the thought of the National Guard coming here, it doesn't appear that that plan is slowing down. Do you in any way think that they could actually be of use with all of these big things happening?
Well, here's the thing. Let me tell you. So none of us have received any confirmation that the National Guard will be here. Right now, that's speculation. So I try not to live in a world of speculation. What I do try to do is understand, here's what's happening in our city. We are on pace for a 60-year low in homicides. We've reduced violent crime by over 20% in our city. Right now, as we sit here and we have this conversation, there's 125 fewer homicides at this point year over year. Do I think that additional resources for our community violence interrupters, our victim services partners, our police department would be helpful? Absolutely, and this is why the mayor, the governor, and others have called on the president to return that $800 million that he took from violence prevention across the entire country. I think those resources that could actually help our police department, our violence interrupters, and our victim services partners show up for the people of Chicago is what would be helpful.
Sure, obviously, you know, returning money to those things, again, the multifaceted aspect of it. We are getting confirmation that they would likely, National Guard troops, be here next week, even though there hasn't been a lot of communication between the city and the federal government. But I want to move on in just the short period of time that we have left, and I want to talk about school safety.
Yes.
Because not too far from here, of course, there was a horrible tragedy this week, and we had a security expert who was on here just yesterday who talked about the need for police departments and community safety representatives and the school districts to work hand in hand on a regular basis. What types of conversations are had, especially when we see something like this happen so close?
Yeah, so I'll tell you the types of conversations. One, we talk to the Chicago Police Department, Chicago Public Schools on a daily basis. We actually have the Chicago Public Schools house a group of their safety and security team housed in our OEMC, so there's a direct line of communication with what's happening in schools, with our police department, with our 911 center, so we stay abreast of all of the issues that are going on. We also stay in constant communication with the COO and the CEO of Chicago Public Schools to assess where their needs are, to make sure they have the adequate resources. Those resources come in forms of, obviously, the Chicago Police Department, our street outreach partners, their safety and security team. And I've talked to them almost as much as I've talked to the superintendent. And as you know, I talk to both of them a lot. So that has been a constant, really train of thought. We opened up our EOC for the first week of school to make sure our kids were back in safe, and we continue that line of communication between the Chicago Public School District, Chicago Police Department, the Mayor's Office, and the Mayor's Office of Community Safety.
Well, I think communication is maybe the biggest word in all of this.
Yes,
That there needs to be a whole lot of communication about how to keep everyone safe. We so appreciate you coming back on here. We will be communicating very soon to get you back. Thank you.
All right, thank you.